I hear you. Hey, I can't hear you, Ross.
I left my mic muted. There we go. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you now. Woohoo, technology.
Technology, it's the greatest. Oh my gosh. All right, Joe. Well, we met at a networking event in Weddington, the Weddington surrounding areas networking group, which we got a chance to see each other last night, which was great to catch up. But where are you from originally?
I am from Jersey, actually.
Jersey.
I lived there for many years. My husband's from Charlotte, and so when it was time for him to retire, he wanted to move back home and raise our two boys, Miles and Morgan. And so we are here. We've been here about 3 years.
Oh, wow.
So
Awesome.
new-ish, but
Newish. Post COVID. That's
right,
good. Yeah,
exactly.
it's a lovely place. I really like it here. What made you guys move from Jersey to Charlotte besides the price and the traffic and 99 other reasons?
Oh, the weather. No, but seriously though, my husband is from here, and
Mhm.
so he wanted to raise the boys here, and he was lucky enough to retire early, so he's now doing most of their activities, and I get to do my photography business full time.
Oh yeah, your photography business, man. That is something. I have my camera phone. I haven't had digital camera in 20 years. I mean, what got you into photography originally?
So it's my family. So I did a bunch of other jobs a long time ago. From I don't know. I don't even remember pre-photography years. But I would come home and I'd be miserable. And so my husband, who he's been my CFO, he's been financing me for many years until I started this here full time. But he would tell me, find something you love, find something you love. And I remember when my oldest was born, we went to Sears Portrait Studio to take a family photo, and my mother-in-law, who's from Charlotte, came up, and so she saw a sign that says, "We're hiring." So I'm like, she's like, "Oh, you should try." And I said, "No, there are professionals in there. I don't know if I could, I didn't go to school for that. I do love photography." Like she knew that, everybody knew that. But I said, you know what? Out of a whim, I'll just go for it. And I did, and found out that high school students were working there at Sears. So I said, well, if they can do it, I can learn this. So I did that and loved it. I was one of those mom with camera for a long time. And then
Mama
mom,
Razzi.
yeah, exactly. And then I just always loved it. And so um, when we started doing modeling for my oldest, I needed to take more pictures. And then it was just always in the background until um, I worked at Sears for a little while, but then I had to, because of family, I couldn't work there. It's a commercial studio, and I had to work on the weekends. So
Mhm.
that was that. Learned everything I could, and I moved on. And then uh, I found a boutique studio in Kingston, Princeton area in New Jersey that allowed me to learn from him, from Oscar, and then he moved, and so I gathered what I could from the small boutique studio. And from both experiences, I put my spin on it, and that's how Joe's Images was born. I did a lot of photography has allowed me to do uh, it doing things that I can insert in my life. Meaning, when I had a kid, I couldn't do as much, but then I would have some time, and so I would do jobs for the Institute of Music in New Jersey, and they allowed me to do like their summer camp. So I did a lot of kids, um, doing musical things during their summer camp week, and just everything in between, from like families, and I did most of my son's portfolio for modeling. And so there's families there, there's modeling there, there's events there, and that's probably how I got started into honing it into events and fashion.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that you have a niche in fashion photography, and it's so fascinating that I've been advised my 25 years in entrepreneurship to niche, niche, and niche. And it's become, I've niched into remote businesses, businesses that don't have brick and mortar, whereas the MSPs normally love brick and mortar, where they do physical networks, firewalls, switches, security cameras. But for me, I work with the remote associates and those who are working from home, who are on their laptops, doing cybersecurity for them. So it's definitely one of those things that niching is really important in a business.
Absolutely, I
Um,
agree.
yeah. I mean, what more can you talk about the inspirement to like get into photography in general and more about fashion photography?
Well, I've been lucky because honestly, it I bumped into it accidentally because
Mhm.
my youngest, who did modeling when we were in that New York northeast area, moving down here, it's a bit slow, but I had to update his portfolio as usual. So I was looking for an agency for him, and or just something where he can be in that world again. And I found the Charlotte Fashion Collective, which,
Tell me
yeah,
about that.
yeah. So they're amazing because never knew that I could be in so much of the fashion modeling and portfolio building and just collaborating in here in Charlotte. Uh,
Hmm.
so the Charlotte Fashion Collective has we collaborate with designers and models and photographers. And we have styled shoots. We have coming up as the prom show at Dillard's, where we photograph them before they get on the runway and help build up their portfolio. So Todd, who with others created this platform organization of models and photographers. The problem is, if you're a photographer, you need models, and if you're a model, you need someone to photograph you. So this is like the perfect uh, time or the organization to be in because we have a plethora of either. So yeah, starting there at the Charlotte Fashion Collective, which, by the way, not to toot my own horn, I was the photographer of the year from 2024.
Oh, awesome.
Such an honor. Yeah, surprise, honor, grateful, all of it. But there is a huge fashion community here in Charlotte, which I didn't know until I was immersed. And so, yeah, just being all over the place. I mean, Ross, you're such a social person, and I feel like it was so easy to talk to you the first time we met at the Weddington networking that I'm like, hey, I don't know if I want to do a podcast, and this is definitely outside of my comfort zone, and I explained that to you, but talking to you seems really easy. So
I'm
I
glad. I'm
appreciate
glad.
it so much.
Well, it's been fascinating where I'm an extrovert. I'm married to a lovely introvert who, it's natural for me to talk to strangers. And for her, it's Danger Will Robinson. It is not really natural for her to talk to others. So it's one of those that a room full of strangers is just friends I haven't met yet. And that's just kind of where I've lived for this whole time. And I mean, I've had my business 25 years. I've been networking for 25 years, and I enjoy networking. I enjoy it so much that I started a website, the Charlotte Networking Hub, and it's featuring networking events all around Charlotte. And it's so fun for me because I get to go to those networking events and experience those networking events before I put them on the website. So it's been a lot of fun, and I'm definitely trying to grow that business while I'm growing my IT business. So I've got a bunch of irons in the fire, plates spinning in the air, and trying to keep it going. But I mean, with you, you've got it focused, you've got it, growing. That you're getting more fashion models in, right? And how are you attracting new clients? Are you working with agencies like modeling agencies? How are you getting more business in the door?
It's mostly just networking and being
Mhm.
in with the Charlotte Fashion Collective, like I said.
Yeah.
But outside of fashion, I also do events, which
Mhm.
is something that I was focused on when I started, like really hit the ground running here in Charlotte. And the biggest game changer for me there is um, really building my SEO
Yeah.
online, so that people can find me because I mean, I'm new to the city. I didn't really know anything about, anything here. So I thought, okay, I need help. And I did find someone who can help me with building my SEO, building my website, helping me with social media. So I'm going
Yeah.
to have to give a shout out to Crystal, who is I'm a part of her SEO squad. She's amazing. She helps with all things SEO, and we meet every week, and has been a game changer for my business because before her group squad, I would say I was probably 80% referral and then maybe 20% Google. And
Mhm.
now I'm in it almost a little over a year, and it's the total opposite. People that do not know me have have found me on
Yeah.
the internet, and so I'm so it's just been amazing.
And that's one of those things. I'm plugging your website. I put it at the bottom of the screen. It's a great portfolio. It really just shows there's like when you have a picture, you can feel or hear how that picture makes you feel. And I feel like your portfolio really does that. Really, it shouts when it needs a shout, and it gives you a warm embrace when you need a warm embrace. And it's one of those things that you bring your portfolio with you. You moved from New Jersey 3 years ago, but you're able to bring your portfolio with you. But you have to build your network again because you're an in-person business. You're not one that you can, I'm going to virtually take your picture. No, that's not how it works. You have to go on site. You have to set up for a shoot. I had John Williams on, who's a videographer, and he needs, an hour to set up his shot before we can start recording. And it takes a little less time to tear down, but it's just like when you go moving a house, it takes 2 weeks to pack everything and 1 week to unpack. So it's
Absolutely.
definitely a progress.
Yep. And
Um,
that's something I would give as advice to anybody who wants to continue to or start this journey is this is such a social business. I i grew up not being an extrovert, but I photography has helped me to become more of a social person because
mhm.
I can't just stay in my corner. I actually do enjoy going out, and that's how I found out about the Charlotte Fashion Collective or all of the different networking and now friends of mine because of these groups. And so it's such a social business that you can look up someone, but a referral is still great, and you still want to be personable because the for me the best way to get that emotion or that candid, carefree, casual image from a stranger is to be for them to be comfortable with me. And I think that's probably one of my strong suit. I like to have music when I'm working.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, usually I'll ask them like, "Hey, what do you listen to? What are we gonna put on?" But I do have my own playlist that kind of gets me more comfortable, and then somehow, hopefully, we'll find some common ground as to the music part. Um, and also just talking to them, and then finding out, what do you do outside of this? Do you dance? Do you uh, what's something that you like to do? And so once I get them more comfortable, I find that those candid moments are my best images. So yeah, it's a very social business.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, it's that relationship, and that definitely serves a lot. More on the passion, more on that business. It's so funny. Photography is very popular, where people have a passion for photography, and they think they want to do a business in photography. And I feel like those are actually two separate schools of thought, right? And there's a lot of people who want to bring their passion to business. What kind of advice could you give to someone who's on that cusp of trying to decide passion, business, that sort of thing?
Sure. So yes, definitely you can tell that this is my passion. But
Mhm.
what happened with the to move it on to the business portion is I really had to figure out what my worth is, uh, my time. Most people just see like we click and then we deliver and that's it. But there's so much that goes behind that. So I have to make sure my skills are up there. So I do love to go to workshops and be a part of a group like the Professional Photographers of North Carolina. We have workshops quarterly, so I try to make it to as many as I can. Um, and so, being a part of a group that encourages you to learn and to get your skills up I'm also part of PPA, which is the national organization. But just getting those skills up so that when you are in front of your client, you are more than confident, I'm going to get the shot correctly. Because one of the things I learned from Oscar, who I worked with at the boutique studio in Kingston, is that I want to get that shot right or ready or correct in camera. And so I have to do less post.
Mm.
And so I've brought that with me with almost everything I do, is like, how do I get it right the first time? And so that I don't have to do too much in post. Um, and so, yeah, getting the skills up is definitely a big part of how I grow and get better. And so I encourage all the workshops that you can afford, go and do them. And it just gives you that little bit of an edge, and gives you, and even if for the first couple of times it's not paid, go out for the experience. um, i I just love being around any kind of photography. So I'll go to a colleague and be in the vicinity and just help out and see how help out maybe with posing, because then I can practice on
Hmm.
my posing skills, right? So every bit, social media is great with posing tips. So anytime I am in front of anything, I try to pick out how I can use that in my photography business.
Right. And that's that. I love that interfacing with others in the field. In the IT field, MSPs don't like each other. They're all in competition with each other. I call it co-opetition. We all are going after similar clients, but I feel like there's a butt for every seat. And it's just one of those things that I feel like we don't have to go at it together, but we can find where our niches are and be able to really focus in where our skills are, because we all started in one little minute section of IT, but IT is a very wide space. Every time I tell someone I'm in IT, they're like, "Oh, so you custom design software?" I was like, "Yes, I can do that, but there's so much more than just that." And so it's definitely, I have to have a conversation with somebody just to kind of get them on the same ground level that I'm at. What role does technology play in your work? Are there any favorite tools or software that you like to use? You mentioned Post. There's a lot of technology in Post.
There is every technology in post. So
Yes.
obviously Photoshop has come a long way. I started when I used to collect like CDs of Photoshop skills and tutorials. My husband used to buy them for me. I had a library. I never really looked at them because it's so daunting. It's so much. But now Photoshop has generative fill, and you can just, lasso tool and put a prompt, and it's there. It's amazing. It's
I love it.
made everything so much easier and faster, and my productivity goes up. My workflow is so much better. So Photoshop for sure. And on my website, I actually use Photobiz, which is a website for photographers.
Mhm.
They just came up with the Photobiz AI assistant for their website, which
Mhm.
basically helps with um, my SEO content on my website itself, which is so helpful because sometimes, yes, as a photographer, I'm more on images and less on text. So you
Mm.
help with brainstorming or just giving me a quicker response to what I want on my website. So Photobiz just came out with that like a couple months ago about with the AI, Photobiz AI, which is so helpful. So I use that on my homepage. Um, I'm not doing a blog yet; it's coming up. But the homepage and about me and all of the different pages on my website. So that's a big shout out to them. And I think ChatGPT has been really good at giving me content for my social media, which is something I have to work on because it takes a lot. But I can't even imagine not having that little bit of help where, I write something and then I have it all nice and pretty in a package, and then I just put it all on my Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. So ChatGPT helps me out a lot.
And ChatGPT is very powerful. So for the podcast, I use it for podcast descriptions. And I tell it, okay, I'm going to interview Joe at 1 o'clock on Thursday. Come up with a podcast description. And you're going to love what it spit out. It said, oh, you should talk about 360 drone technology, and you should talk about AI innovations in the photo editing space. And it's just like, it just spit out a bunch of, I call it garbage, but it's garbage in, garbage out. It's one of those things that it's like, you're a photographer who's using technology, not a technologist taking pictures. There's just so much of a difference, but it's an ever growing space. There's a 3D videography of real estate. There's lots of different stuff like that. When someone comes to you and says, I want 3D photography of my real estate, do you have someone in your repertoire for that?
No, I say, no, that is not my expertise or my niche, but I definitely can refer them to someone who can do that. Yeah. I'm more than happy to refer. But 360 is amazing, and drone technology has gone. I mean, I love seeing it. On like weddings, it's incredible. Travel photography, it's just it really does give you a full picture, and it's getting better and better. So I love it. But video is something I give to someone else. I will hand off if I cannot do something, for sure.
Exactly. And that warm handoff is something we do in Charlotte all the time. Somebody knows somebody who knows somebody, and that warm handoff is much better than a cold lead. And I try to do warm handoffs, which is like, hey, Joe, this is Sam. He needs fashion photography because he's a new model. Something like that means that I've made the connection because I know you. I'm not in the fashion industry. I know people that are in the fashion industry. I had David Frankel of Perky Collar on the podcast. And he he's always dressed to the nines whenever I see him. I don't think he owns a t-shirt and jeans. So it's all, who you know and how you know them. It's one of those things that I think that there's plenty of opportunity to grow the business. And you mentioned SEO, you mentioned AI. Definitely leveraging AI is super important in today's tool set. It used to be leveraging the cloud was the last tool set, and before that it was high speed, and before that it was client server, and then dial up, and then internet, and all these things before. So there's just new tools that are in our tribe. Definitely when it comes to the post and the editing and getting it out there, and the search engines don't do visual. There's an image search. Google Images can do a reverse search, but people aren't searching using images as much, right? So you have to have text on your images. The blind can't see your images. They need the alt text that's in there to be able to see that. So it's really good that you're using AI in your SEO.
Yes, absolutely. Alt text is my best friend. It's everything I put out there has my signature, my stamp on it.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, thanks to, again, Crystal, who in the squad found out that, that is something I need to do, which I wasn't doing before. And so there are certain reports that tell you like, hey, you have a new organic keyword. And here I am with my new organic keyword, because I am putting out there that, a professional photographer, North Carolina, with my website and my info. So yes, alt text is game changer, just to be simple, but yeah, it's incredible and so easy to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the low hanging fruit that you can be able to do.
Yes.
And yeah, it's a little bit of time. And you're talking about creating a blog. You can hire a shadow writer. You can hire a virtual assistant, and you just give them the prompts and they write them for you, and they get that content out there, because we have to be busy running in our business as well as on our business at the same time. So we're trying to get all those shots in and get everything done in post and delivered at some rapid speed that whatever the bride expects. But it's one of those things that we're just trying to deliver a service to our clients as best as we can. I appreciate you coming onto the podcast, because you had mentioned that this was outside your comfort zone and it was something new that you were trying. And so I appreciate you taking the time out to come connect with me and share with my audience.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Ross, for giving me the platform. And it's been great, because it made me sit down and just really take a moment to go through, what I've been doing. And it's been a great journey. I do have one last word for those who are really gearing up to, should I not start any business? I'll be 50 this month. So
Hmm.
you know what? It's never too late. It's always scary. But they say like scary things are usually worth it. And so that is something that what kind of nudged me to like, hey, get on a podcast. You never know. I mean, I have butterflies right now, but I hope you can't tell by, just you putting me at ease. So thank you so much for giving me this platform.
And I appreciate it. And you were very natural. And in case people want to be able to have their wedding or event or fashion covered in photography, what's the best way for people to reach out to you?
Oh, thanks. So my website, it's JOHAYIMAGS.com. So johayimages.com. And I'm on all of the social media. It's Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook is Joe Hayes, JOHAYES, on social platform. So thank you, Ross.
That's so great. And if anybody has any tech needs or tech headaches, my bookable calendar is scheduleross.com. It's hooked up to Calendly. I'm always available by cell phone if you have my cell phone number. And I'm always here and willing to help. And it's always a good day when the technology is working. So
Yes, absolutely.
all right.
Thank you.